Looks like I just made it in time. It started to rain outside, so perfect timing. So again, one last go at the oven cleaner. I've got the other head here, the one that's got the hole in it. I'm just looking at these exhaust or the manifold studs, or some of them are actually just screws. I'm not sure if that's stock or not. I intend to find out, but I'll probably put it as is at the moment. So once that's done, I'll give that one last wash, clean it all out, and then I'll start doing the valves. Now on the back here, I've started cleaning them up, getting rid of all the carbon build-up, and whichever ones I mean, they're not perfect. You can see that one's still got a little bit of, carbon left in it, but they're looking pretty reasonable. So my intention is for, hopefully today, to be able to lap the valves, put the new valve stem seal in, which is effectively just an O-ring. And ideally I'd like to have this head ready to put in on the weekend. So that'll be good, one thing out of the way, then I can concentrate on taking the sump out and giving it an oil change, a bit of a coolant flush, etc, etc. So there's still quite a bit of work to do. While she stays outside, I'll try to keep her under cover. Heck, why not? And the Rangy. Tomorrow she leaves. Going to a very good home though, another Land Rover fanatic, who actually has been helping me out with the series as well. So looking forward to having a chat more about that. These are the Range Rover Classic Centre diffs. They're not off the Ranger here, they're another set. I intend to put those in the series, see how that goes. There's from what I've read, pros and cons to doing this. The series out there won't fit, as far as I can see, won't fit inside here, and I don't want it either, because I want to be able to strip it and put the parts that I've stripped inside. Anyway, so it's been sitting here now for probably about half an hour, so what I'll do is get the cartridge ready and give it a bit of a blast, and then bring it back in. Just cleaning up the bottom of the valves. I don't have one of these on my bench grinder, so just got to do it whatever way. So that at least the suction cup will adhere to it. I'm quite happy with that. Of course, it's never going to be the same quality as taking it to a machine shop, but for what I want to do, it's good. I might just give this another sanding just before putting it on. I have valve number 1. I have the grinding paste. I've got that, and I've got some oil, a tiny bit of oil to it. Now I'm not too worried about getting this stuff on inside the heads, because I will be giving it another very good clean, because this stuff will absolutely chew through valve guides, etc, etc. So something like that. And just do that. Alright, I always like to clean my hands. And now probably should use the other side. I'll use the other side. The problem with these suction cups is that if you get any of the grit on here, it just won't okay, have a look. You can see how it's starting to grind down into a nice new seat. So I gave it a final wash to make sure that some lapping compound was definitely out of the head, and you can see here how the seats actually look okay. They aren't perfect. There's still a little bit of it's not perfectly smooth. Some of them are. We're getting nice and smooth, but even then you can see on the exhaust port there's a little bit of imperfections there, and I don't think I'll be able to do anything about that unless I get them machined. So this is how it's going to be. At least it's much better than it was before. Right, so the next step is to turn them around, or turn the head around, and try to get access to those O-rings inside the valve stems to remove those and replace them with another set. So I just investigated in there, and there's no seals at all in there, which is probably no surprises because I did give it the berries with the cleaning and so on. But there's the O-ring I was talking about earlier on, and then that just has to be squeezed in there until it finds its home. See if I can use my fingers and slowly wedge it in there. Nice bit of amount of oil there. Wow. Okay. Okay, so it started going in, and of course it's now crooked, but that's okay. We'll see if we can, using a custom tool like that, see if I can actually turn it around. Now, you're not going to be able to see much, I'm sorry, but all I'm trying to do is trying to get that flat. See what I'm doing? I'm just pushing that in there. Okay, so that's there. Whoops, bring that up. No. Alright, so where I've got that is there. You can see the O-ring there. It's a bit loose, which is a bit of a concern, so you can try and focus in there so you can see it. And there it is there. So what I'm going to do now is feed the valve from the other side whilst keeping an eye on this side to see whether or not it pops the O-ring out of shape or out of its housing. So reposition the head. And let's go through this. Okay. So you can see that I give you all the details that I possibly can. Right. Okay, there's the valve on that side. You can see the O-ring there just on the reflection on the top of the valve. So here it goes. I've put in plenty of oil in there. There's the O-ring there. It's just touching the top of the valve now. I'm just going to give it a gentle pressure. Oh, it's turning. There we go. Pop. One. And there we go. And it's actually sufficient pressure where you can see the valve isn't dropping. That would just drop down, back down out of its position, obviously, but it's keeping that, which means that I think that should be right. Oh, I hope so. Right, so I'm going to do the same for the rest. So again, oil them up, push it down, position it, and then feed the valve up through the top. I'm not sure if you can see that, but the one on the left is actually slightly larger than the one on the right. Can you see that? Spot that? See if I can bring them together a bit more. Right, it's only a minor difference, but I've I've since found out that the smaller one is for the exhaust valve, and the larger one is obviously for the inlet. Well, I'm making progress. It's taking a bit of time. But what doesn't help is when you've got, I'll see if I can show you here. If you notice the O-ring, you've got a little bit of extra rubber on that top edge there. Can you see that? Now that becomes a problem. Obviously these O-rings are meant to be of a certain size, so when you've got a little bit of that thing happening there, you end up having to cut it. So I have to very, very slowly try and remove this extra bit of rubber here without cutting the O-ring. Fun and games. What these little O-rings do, it certainly holds it up into place. So there's a bit of resistance there, but not too much. This one here is a little bit more resistance than I like, and I'm not sure why. I mean, it's still okay, but fine, good. So it probably took about half an hour. Again, just because of the tool, but that's all nice now. And if I lift that up, oh, you can see, and there's a bit better. Well, let's just say it's certainly a lot better than what it was. And down here, happy with that as well. So there you have it. What I'll do is I'll stop the video for this bit, and I'll continue on when I install the head and do another section there. So as always, thanks for watching.